Welcome, everyone, to the deep dive. Today, we're getting to a really interesting film, Almanya Willkommen in Deutschland, that German movie from 2011.
That's right.
Our goal here is to unpack how it tackled some pretty big ideas: cultural identity, integration, what home even means when you're, between places.
hmm
And we're drawing on a bunch of analysis, looking at the story, how it was made, and what people thought of it.
And Almanya, it's special because it uses humor, quite a lot of it actually, and these really heartfelt moments to show us this Turkish family's life in Germany.
Yeah.
It's all about belonging, those generational clashes we see in families, and that big search for identity. And the way it tells the story using two timelines is really key.
Okay, let's unpack that a bit. So what is Almanya really about at its core?
Well, essentially, you're following the Yilmaz family.
Right, the Turkish immigrants in Germany.
Exactly. But it's clever how it weaves things together. You've got their life now in Germany, but then also these flashbacks showing their roots, their beginnings back in Turkey.
And that dual structure, you said it culminates in something quite powerful.
It does. There's this really poignant visual moment near the end that just beautifully connects the different generations and their experiences, their sort of evolving identities. It really ties it all together.
Interesting.
And you see it in the characters. The grandfather, Hussein, he's kind of wrestling with his Turkish identity, maybe fading a bit. While his grandkids, they're living this dual heritage daily. They're German, they're Turkish, they're figuring it out.
Right.
But crucially, it's funny, the film uses these like whimsical bits and funny stories to show the cultural clashes.
Yeah, I heard about that, like the language mix-ups or dealing with German food for the first time.
Exactly, those kinds of things. It highlights the challenges, sure,
Yeah.
but also the absurdity sometimes. It makes the whole adaptation process feel very human, very relatable.
But it's not just laughs, is it? Despite that comedy, it sounds like it tackles some pretty serious stuff about identity and belonging.
Oh, absolutely not. Just laughs.
Mhm.
It balances the humor with really touching, heartfelt moments. It never makes light of the core struggles.
And that balance must have struck a chord. I mean, nearly 1.5 million viewers in Germany alone. That's huge for 2011.
It really was a massive success, one of the biggest German films that year.
Wow.
And beyond the box office, it got picked up in academic circles, too, for discussions on migration, cultural identity.
Makes sense.
And it played at the Berlin Film Festival, which just shows its reach and relevance. It definitely sparked conversations about, how Turkish life and the immigrant experience get represented in film.
Okay, so we've got the gist of the story and its impact. Who are the people who actually brought this vision to life? The cast, the director.
All right. Well, the main driving force was the director, Yasemin Şamdereli. And she actually co-wrote it with her sister, Nesrin Şamdereli.
Oh, interesting. So a very personal connection, likely.
It seems that way. And you can feel it in the script. They weave these very personal feeling moments into the broader cultural conversation. It captures the little details, the nuances of immigrant life and that search for who you are. It feels very authentic.
And the cast, they had to embody all these complex feelings.
It did a fantastic job. You have Vedat Aronson as Hussein, the patriarch. You really feel his struggles and hopes.
Right.
Then Fari Yardım as Ali, one of the sons, grappling with that dual identity. Aylin Tetzel as Kanan, she really brings out the belonging and adaptation challenges for her generation. And Rafael Gasuris plays the grandson, Kemlem, adding that younger perspective on cultural conflict. Dennis Mosquito and Lily Husser round out the main family, adding depth to the dynamics. They all contribute to exploring those themes.
And you mentioned the production side earlier briefly.
Yeah, as a collaboration, Roxy Film, Infofilm, Conquer Film Vertily were involved, and they got support from Filmförderung Baden-Württemberg, so proper backing.
Okay. And visually, you mentioned the dual timelines earlier. How did they make that work on screen?
Yeah, the visuals are crucial. Key crew members like Alexander Manass on production design, Tolga Dundar as art director, and especially Nugo the Chow, the cinematographer. They really shaped the look and feel.
How so?
Well, like you were saying, the timelines. Nugo the Chow's cinematography often uses different lighting and color. Turkey might feel warmer, more golden, nostalgic almost.
Right, like Memory Lane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While Germany, especially early on, might have cooler tones, maybe reflecting that initial feeling of being somewhere new, maybe a bit alienating, before it becomes home, too.
That's a subtle but powerful way to show it.
It really is.
Yeah.
And Andrea Mertens' editing weaves these timelines together seamlessly. Plus, Gerd Bauman's music and Stephanie Brune's costumes add so much to the atmosphere.
And they filmed in both countries.
Yep, Germany and Turkey. On location, some studio work. It gives it that authentic feel, grounding the story in real places.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Let's dive deep into those themes. What are the big ideas Almanya is really wrestling with?
Well, the absolute central theme, I'd say, is that complex feeling of belonging or not belonging when you're straddling two cultures.
Right?
And you see it play out across the Yilmaz family's three generations. Each one has a slightly different relationship with their background. Like we said, Hussein, the grandfather, he's sort of the anchor to traditional Turkish identity.
While the kids and grandkids are different.
Very different. They're navigating this duality constantly. They might feel fully German in many ways, but that Turkish heritage is undeniably part of them too. It's that push and pull.
And you mentioned the humor again. How does that work with these serious themes? It seems like a tricky balance.
It is, but the film does it brilliantly. The humor isn't just, slapstick. It's often situational, arising from those cultural clashes.
Give me an example.
Okay, like the family trying to figure out Christmas. It's funny seeing them navigate these unfamiliar traditions, but it also highlights the real challenges and sometimes the awkwardness of trying to fit into a new culture.
Yeah, I can picture that. It makes it relatable, less preachy.
Exactly. It makes these big themes accessible. And those funny moments, those misunderstandings, they even touch on language learning, how you pick things up in unexpected ways.
That's clever. What about memory? You mentioned flashbacks.
Nostalgia is huge in this film, especially through Hussein's perspective, looking back at those early, maybe difficult but formative years as a Gastarbeiter, a guest worker in Germany.
Ah, right.
Those memories aren't just backstory. They show how the past shapes who they are now, their sense of self, their sense of belonging, or maybe the loss of it sometimes. It adds this deep emotional layer.
And within the family itself, are there tensions?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Intergenerational conflict is another key theme. Think about Kanan, the granddaughter. She gets pregnant by her non-Turkish boyfriend.
Okay, yeah, that would cause ripples.
Big time. It brings up all these questions about preserving traditions versus embracing the new culture, especially for the younger generations born in Germany. How much do you hold on to? What do you let go of?
And language barriers, too, I imagine.
Yes, the film shows that very realistically. It's not just about funny translation errors. It's a genuine challenge that affects communication, relationships, just daily life for immigrants.
It sounds like it goes pretty deep, beyond just the surface level cultural stuff.
It really does. If you zoom out, Almanya touches on some philosophical questions too. The nature of home, identity, finding meaning when you're sort of culturally dislocated. The dialogue sometimes hints at these deeper, almost existential thoughts. It makes you ponder what really anchors us, especially when your roots in your life are in different places. It's a thoughtful exploration, not just a comedy.
So let's talk about when it came out, March 10th, 2011, in Germany. You described it as colorful, breezy, suitable for families.
Yeah, it was marketed that way to some extent. A comedy drama with wide appeal, which it definitely had.
And it premiered at the Berlin Film Festival.
That's right, Berlinale. Out of competition, but still a big platform. And after Germany, it got releases across Europe, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, France, quite a few places.
Which suggests it resonated beyond just the German-Turkish experience.
I think so. The themes are universal, even if the specifics are rooted in that particular migration story.
And we talked about its success in Germany. The box office worldwide ended up around $14.9 million.
Yeah, roughly that. Which, again, for a German film tackling these themes, is pretty solid. It definitely found an audience, especially, as you said, among Turkish communities living abroad. They saw themselves in it.
What was the general critical take? Heartwarming.
Very much so. Heartwarming, nostalgic, a tearjerker that came up a lot. Critics noted how well it managed to talk about serious social issues, like the history of the guest workers.
Right, using things like archival footage you mentioned.
Exactly. That footage adds this layer of historical truth, grounding the fictional family story. But it did this while keeping that lighter comedic touch overall.
So generally positive reviews.
Generally, yes. Audience scores hovered around, like 3.5 out of 5 stars, maybe. And being the fourth most popular German film of the year really says something about its cultural impact at the time.
And there's a quote at the end.
Yeah, a powerful one from the Swiss author Max Frisch. It basically reflects on how Germany called for workers, but human beings came. It's a poignant reminder right at the end about the individual lives behind the statistics and policies.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the takeaway for someone listening now? Why is Almanya still relevant?
Well, I think it's incredibly relevant. Discussions about Multiculturalism, integration, identity, they haven't gone away, have they?
Not at all. If anything, they're more prominent.
Exactly. And Almanya offers this very human perspective. It shows how personal stories like the Yilmaz families can help us understand these huge, complex societal issues in a way that, news reports or data just can't.
It brings empathy into the picture.
Precisely. It invites you to connect, to understand the feelings involved, not just the politics or the economics.
So a final thought to leave our listeners with. Something to chew on.
Okay. I guess the film really pushes us to ask, how do we manage this?
Yeah.
As people, as societies, how do we balance holding on to cultural heritage, the things that make us who we are, with embracing new identities, new ways of life?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. And maybe, just maybe, stories like Almanya played a role. What part can storytelling play in bridging these worlds, these potential conflicts, and helping us all figure out what home really means in our interconnected world?